Good evening, everyone. We hope that you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are Lina Team. I am Lina, and next to me is Yana, my wonderful team member. And as you may or may not know, we are a real estate team, and we specialize all over the GTA and its surroundings. And we are here today to talk to you about our slightly crazy, very fast paced, and oftentimes insane market that we're in right now. We've had a lot of inquiries over the past half a year and lots of questions from people asking us things like, where is this all going? What's going to happen? What do you see in the real estate market? How do you even buy in a market like this? So we thought it would be a really great idea to engage with everyone, to have you guys join us and to have a discussion on all of those topics and answer those burning questions that you've had, give you some tips and tricks from us, some pointers, and also share some of our success stories of our clients as well. So Yana has prepared an amazing presentation for you to view today. So we hope that you stay with us the whole time. We do have some time for questions after. So without further ado, we will get right into it. Just getting some people in here. So getting into the lovely presentation here, we today want to focus really more so on the purchase aspect of things. That has been the most challenging for people in a market that we're in right now. So we wanted to keep the discussion focused mostly on that, except for the questions and discussion points at the end. So we thought it would be best to start to split up what the purchase market is made up of. Basically, how we see it, there are 4 large segments of the real estate purchase market. You'll see them over here. And we'll start first by talking about the first-time home buyers segment. Now, huge segment, obviously. Many of us have been fortunate enough to already be there. Some of us are aspiring. Some of us are currently on the market to get into it. So it is definitely a segment that is always filling itself, so to speak. Very driven by budget, obviously. Also driven by life circumstances at that time. We're finding that, of course, because it is very budget driven, a lot of first-time buyers tend to gravitate towards the cheaper aspect of the market. So be it condominium apartments, condo townhomes, parcel of tied land type of properties, smaller freehold like semis or towns. And again, pricing is a factor that is obviously driven by that. Now, the other thing is we've had a lot of first-time buyers inquire the past 6 months or so of the year, asking, how can I become a homeowner right now? It seems everything is so crazy. There's so many multiple bids. We really want to get into the market, but what do we do? So we will share towards the end of our presentation, we will share definitely some tips and tricks of what works for our clients and what we do. But we are very proud to say that we've helped quite a few people get into the market first time and realize their dream of homeownership. So it's very nice to see that. And it definitely is possible in any type of market, even a fast-paced one such as the one we're in right now. Now, the next segment that we would like to discuss are those that are downsizing. So, the typical downsizing client, so to speak, is one that has lived in their house for an X amount of years, has built up an equity, is now at a point where perhaps tending to the yard is a lot of work, or they just don't need all that space because the kids are out, or whatever the case may be. The market has grown. It's very attractive for them to sell at this point, get into something smaller, perhaps get something on one level, like a condominium apartment or a bungalow. So that usually has been the more traditional type of downsizing purchaser. Now, what we've noticed a lot in a market like the one we're in right now is the prices have gone up a lot. And there are people calling us and turning to us that didn't think of selling. They were thinking maybe another 5 years, maybe 10, maybe 3. And now, because the prices have gone up significantly, it is becoming more and more attractive for them to sell, perhaps pay off their mortgage, live mortgage free, do something else with their time and money. So that definitely is a growing part of the segment, makes up a pretty large percentage in the market that we're in right now. And then, of course, there are the people that are downsizing because of financial hardships. That happens as well. And then we also see people that want to be doing something else with their money. They like the house, but perhaps it makes more sense to put the money into another investment, get an investment property, which Jana will discuss as well, or put it into the kids' education. So whatever the case may be, there are definitely a number of different situations in the downsizing market as well. So Jana will discuss the other 2 segments of the real estate purchase now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jana. I'm part of Lina Team. Thank you, Lina, for your amazing introduction. And thank you, everybody who joined us today and who is watching us live on Facebook. We see quite a few people here. So I would like to talk about real estate investors. Me, myself, I have a BA in economics and business management. So all of talking about market is very close to my heart, and I know how to deal with markets and macro and microeconomics. So I would like to talk about real estate investors. There are opportunity even in this market when you can build up equity and you can actually get into the stream of investors and to get 2 types of cash flow. It could be cash flow from doing flips, and it could be cash flow from being a landlord. Let me discuss both of the opportunities. First of all, flip. In this market, yes, it's still seller's market, but even though there are a lot of buyers who don't want to invest any time or money into the renovating their new homes, they are ready to pay more, much more, to get the deal done with already ready house. So we talk also about condos, we talk also about houses. It could be detached 2 cars garage, and someone with money will come and he will be ready to pay hundreds of $1,000s more just to get it done and move into ready house. It could be something very, very small to start with. For the flippers, I would recommend to study the market and the market trends before we go into that type of market, because the market segments are very different between cities and between types of properties. If you look into the peripheral cities, less people would be interested probably to purchase ready and pay hundreds of $1,000s for something which is ready to move and completely renovated. If you talk about GTA and closest surrounding, like Barrie, like Hamilton, like Cambridge, like Oshawa, Ajax, those people are probably would be more interested to purchase something ready. The second segment of the investors is landlords. For the landlords, we talk about 2 streams of equity. First of all, we talk about natural market increase, prices increase. In the last year, the prices increased between 10 to 50%. It depends where and depends on which type of property we talk. There are a lot of opportunities for landlords to purchase and get positive cash flow every single month. We talk about between could be $50 or $100 up to $1,000 and even $1,500. If we talk about duplexes or even triplexes, you purchase something, you can flip what you purchase. If you talk about detached house, this opportunity to turn it into the legal duplex, you can flip and then you can actually rent it out and get positive cash flow. I would recommend to the investors to study the bylaws before they go into flipping and into anything else, because we recommend to get permits to investors to turn the house into legal duplex or legal triplex. Of course, to study all the tribunal and landlords and tenants tribunal laws and to know what's allowed and not allowed according to the law, what are the things we can or cannot do, because being an investor in real estate, it's a business. Sometimes it's 10% of your full job, and sometimes it's 100%. Being full-time landlords, if you have 10, 15, 20 properties. Obviously, we are here to help. We helped people to invest in real estate and get positive cash flow and get very nice equity out of the investment. And we will be happy to discuss each and single situation. We have on our team people who can help you also with financing. It's a process, it takes time, it doesn't happen overnight, but yes, it's very nice to have investment property. And the last segment of the market that we can touch today, it's upgrading. We talk about people who have some equity, maybe their financial situation improved in the years. It could be new family, it could be newcomers, so people who just finished to study, and after 4 or 5 years they have stable jobs, they have more income, and they are ready to move, to upgrade, to move up. Most of those buyers, they are not necessarily savvy buyers. It could be second purchase. Sometimes people do not sell their first property, they just rent it out, they get some type of cash flow from the first property, and they are able to use also that cash flow to purchase the second property, because this cash flow could be used as an income for the purposes of getting mortgage for the second property. For upgrades, usually it's coming out of a condo or condo townhouses, sometimes from small townhouses. People want to get freehold, people want to get detached houses, people want to move up in the areas. For example, they lived in the periphery, we want to move closer to city of Toronto, for example, or maybe they have better jobs somewhere here in the region, and people have higher budget. Those people purchase most of the time close to million or maybe even over million, because to purchase over million, you need to have equity and nice down payment. So as well, we help to people like that also to deal with their current house or current condo. We do look into each client situation personally, because we have to analyze and to advise the clients what is the best, or to rent it out or to sell. And maybe sometimes people just divide the equity and they use the down payment as in purchasing a new house and also to purchase an investment property if they build up a lot of equity in their current home. Lina will talk next about market trends.
Yes, no real estate discussion would be complete without touching upon, obviously, market trends. So we have seen a lot of things happening over the past, I would say over a year, about a year and a half, but definitely it has been a wild ride since the beginning of 2021. So a couple of things we want to touch upon that we feel are important, especially in June. We are about halfway through the year almost, hard to believe, but that's where we are. There have been certain changes by the government in hopes of kind of slowing down the market, bringing the prices down, which is still to be determined. So we do want to, as I said, touch upon some of those things and discuss. So the first part is the one that's top of everybody's mind because it just happened. The government made changes to the stress test. So there's the stress test and there's obviously the interest rate. So we get a lot of questions about the interest rate. We're not going to go too deeply into that because that remains to be seen. There have been obviously certain slight growths being added, a little bit here, a little bit there. So the interest rates aren't as low as they maybe were a few months ago, but still low enough where it is attractive for people to buy, for people to invest, as Yana was saying. So there are still multiple opportunities for clients out there. In terms of the stress test, the rate was increased. So the stress test is basically, in layman's terms, it's a test that the financial institutions were using to make sure that you, as the borrower could afford a higher mortgage payment if your rate were to go up. So even if your rate was 2%, you were being qualified on a different rate for the stress test. So that has been increased. And basically, again, just to break it down, what that means to you is if you qualified before June 1st, when this went into effect, if you qualified for, let's say, 600,000, now this sets your affordability back a little bit. So, you know, if you could afford, if you qualified for 600,000, maybe now you are able to buy for 550 or 560, right? Each situation is obviously different because there's various factors that make up your mortgage, right? So it's your credit history and, you know, job, income, all of those things, right? So, but that's the easiest way to explain it. So we actually, because we work with buyers on an ongoing basis, we did have some clients that, you know, didn't purchase before June 1st, and they did get caught in this. Now, happy news, they've all, you know, most of them have been able to buy, some are still looking. So it's not a humongous difference, but there is a bit of a difference and people have to be cognizant of that. Anybody going for a pre-approval now would still be falling under the new regulations anyways. So it wouldn't be that much of a change for you at this point. Now, there is hope, I guess, from the government that this is going to bring the prices down and cool the market. We have seen a little bit of a slowdown, but nothing so dramatic at this point. So that remains to be seen. You know, there may be more government things coming from top down. We don't know, but at this point, that's basically what it has been. So that's one thing that obviously is big in June. The other thing is, you know, we had January, February, March, where, you know, every report you read was crazy seller's market. You know, things are flying off the shelf. There's a lack of inventory. Prices are at an all-time high. So yes, that's absolutely what's been happening. Now, you know, fast forwarding to June 2021, we are experiencing, I suppose, what people can say is a slower seller's market. So instead of having the 30 offers that you would have had on a house in Barrie in January, you know, you are now having 5 or 6, right? So it's all relative at the end of the day. But yes, if you compare it to what was going on in the beginning of the year, it seems like it is a slower market. Now, still a great time to sell. Prices are still high. It's a good time to move, but we are shifting to something that's more of a balanced market, which I think is great. I think it's good for purchasers. I think it's good for sellers too, because if you are selling a smaller house, you want to get into a big one, or you're selling a big one, you want to get into a smaller one. It plays into your hands as well if the market is more balanced, because then you're able to make the moves that you want to do. So that's another thing that we've noticed, slower price increase. So Yana touched upon that when she was talking earlier about how much of an increase we've seen throughout the GTA in different areas, and the prices have been jumping. We've really never seen such price growth before on record. So it has been a little bit insane to watch, that's for sure. I've been in real estate for quite some time and I've never seen anything like this. So we are experiencing a little bit of a less increase, so to speak. We've got an average of 1% here in May. Now, you are still experiencing a price increase. It's just not as fast as it was before. So, you know, the other thing I think to keep in mind, I mean, we were really in times that have never happened before. So it's still profitable for a seller to sell. And for buyers now, as I said, the market is becoming more equitable, more fair. So it is a really good time for them to start thinking of getting into the market for whatever their situation may be. And ties into the last point that I'm going to be discussing. Again, a more balanced market for really everybody, but for people that are upgrading more so. If you were a buyer that lived in a smaller house, be it a townhouse or condo or whatever it is, and you wanted to get into a detached, you wanted to have a 2-car garage, you know, there's certain things that now you are ready for, your family has grown, and that's what you were looking for in January. You were at a lot less of an advantage than you are now. January, February, March, that whole winter, spring market was extremely fast, price growth, not enough listings out there, which resulted obviously in buyers competing with one another a lot. So the price growth was very, very high. Whereas now you are able to actually purchase the home that you want. In fact, we've been able to do that for people as well. We've had buyers that were in that exact same position. You know, sometimes they get a little discouraged because they want to get the next step in life going. And now is the time when we've been able to get those deals done for them, because A, there's more inventory out there. B, it's not as fast, not as much competition. You know, the pricing is not growing that much. You can actually put in things like conditions for financing, inspection, you know, depending on the market that you're purchasing in. So definitely we've seen that that shift to a more balanced and what I think is a fair market, because we can't just have one side always winning, right? So I like to see when things are in balance, because then that means our sellers are happy and our buyers are happy. So Yana will continue to discuss the rest of the trends in June.
So Lina just touched about what's going on in May. Just a little bit of information and statistic. The price increase actually in May was only 1%. I'm talking about average in all the areas we are working. We talk about all the GTA, Halton area, Burlington. We look into the Durham area. We look into the Simcoe County. We look obviously into York region. This is and Toronto. Those are areas we work. We like working there. We know the areas. So when we look generally, we talk about only 1% increase in May. June, we have no idea yet, because we're still waiting for the June to be finished. We will see the market statistic, and we will obviously publish market report first week of July. But what we can see from our work and what we can see from our buyers and the feedback we are getting also from the sellers, we don't see price decrease. No, we see slow market, we see more balanced market, we see less competition on each listing. However, we have less listings. Maybe people are afraid to sell right now. We want to see on the fence to see where market is going on, obviously, because we kind of in strange, you know, strange situation when we had crazy market very, very fast. Right now we are going into slow market, and like it's not seasons anymore. People got used that this is the season, June everybody sells, and now it's not happening. So also we have to adjust ourselves to not being seasonable business, so to speak. Anyway, right now we don't see a lot of price increase. Sometimes people, motivated sellers, they are ready to decrease a little bit of the price of what they expect to get, just to get the property sold faster. Shift to more balanced market for upgraders. Lina touched that. We talked about it. No need to add anything else, I think. Hot market for first-time home buyers, downsizers, and investors, because we talk about lower budget. First of all, you cannot be qualified for mortgage over 1 million mortgage if you do not have 20% deposit. Everybody knows it. Secondly, investors must have 20% down payment, 20% down payment. It could come out of HELOC, out of home equity line of credit, out of the equity of the people, or it could be coming from their savings, cash, whatever they have. Yet there are a lot of opportunities to purchase house and to take mortgage less than million. We see in desirable areas, nice townhouses, sometimes detached in good areas with good school, with very good population, houses lower than 1 million, or townhouses semi-detached. So you don't have to go crazy to purchase nice townhouse in good area and to pay millions of dollars, so $1,350,000. You still can get nice townhouse under $1 million, and you can get financing under $1 million. The thing is, in the same pond, there are a lot of other fishes. We talk about first-time home buyers, we talk about downsizers and investors. All of those people are in the same pond. So yes, in the lower budget segment, we see yet a lot of traffic, a lot of purchasers, and a lot more offers than you see in the houses which are over 1.1 million and 1.2 millions. Expectation of price reduction, as we talked about it, right now it's not happening. We talk about deals, specific deals. Lina and I, we are good in our jobs. We can find those deals, but it's not a trend. This is not happening. Next point I would touch, and it relates to the previous point, less motivated sellers are less flexible. People got used to prices increases like crazy. So the sellers look into the last sales, let's say 6 months or 4 months or 3 months, and they say, what's going on? The prices were so high. We sold like in 1 day, in few hours. People were purchasing without seeing the property even. Properties were flying. Right now, it's not happening. If a property is less desirable, not renovated, not such a nice area, it can stand on the market for 3 weeks, even 4 weeks, and sometimes the property is not selling. People don't understand yet, the sellers, that the market is a little bit shifting. They think it's unfair. Well, you know, always buyers want to pay less, sellers want to get more. It's normal completely, but people think it will change. I don't see how it changes at this point in the upcoming month. If you are motivated to sell, I would advise you to sell. However, for the record and for the remarks, we do expect the borders to be open very soon, actually tomorrow morning. Our clients from overseas are landing. Good luck and welcome to Canada. And I guess we are not the only one who's starting to get clients and interest from overseas, something we didn't see in the last, let's say, 6 or 7 months. So right now, people are starting to get back into the immigration, and there are international students who will be coming in July, August, and September. Now, that's true, but most of international students, they do not have PR and they do not have the money to start with. However, there is a little segment of those international students who come with their saving or parents saving and enough money to purchase, even though they have 15% tax for purchaser who is not a PR or who is not a citizen. So yes, most people, international students, will come into the market in different type of areas. It could be downtown Toronto, it could be North York, close to maybe Markham, maybe close to Seneca College, maybe close to
York University.
York University, yeah. Of course, thank you, Lina, and close to Ryerson University of Toronto, even close to Barrie, right? They have college there, so people will come to Canada, and people who come with PR, again, not all of them, but some of them do have money and they will buy. So we do expect some time of traffic on the market in terms of purchasing, in the, not now, but maybe between 6 to 12 months. Most people will start buying, or they will start invest, they will start to think about buying maybe. So I would think ahead and see if the prices could be increasing due to those conditions we just discussed, and maybe go into that market to purchase right now, you know, to be a landlord, as we discuss about investors' opportunity.
And just to add one little thing, Yana touched upon it. She touched upon seasonality. So typically, you know, you look at the seasons and you have spring is busy, fall is busy, summer is quiet. Last year, we all know what happened. We're not going to go into it. We know we're living through it right now. We didn't have a spring market, obviously. And then summer was extremely busy. It was probably one of the busiest summers in all the years that I've been in real estate. This year, we've had a winter market, a crazy one. We've had a spring market. Now that we're finally in the official summer days, you know, we're starting to see a little bit of that taper off. Things are opening up, restrictions are loosening, and people do want to take advantage. Maybe they want to take their family, they want to travel, they want to do certain things. So there is a percentage of the market right now that Yana talked about that is maybe not so motivated, and they maybe will look at the fall when we could potentially see price increases. So if you are thinking of buying, this would be a good time, because the people that are on right now could potentially be a lot more motivated. We could potentially work out a better deal for you, right? There could be different houses coming. So you always have to bear that in mind. July and August traditionally are not super busy months. And sometimes that you are able to actually get quote unquote a deal, right? So keep that in mind. If you are thinking of buying, we'd love to help you, but think about that, because there could be some opportunities that you might not get in the fall or when all of those things that Yana spoke about start to happen. So that is enough about trends. Now we want to discuss. So at the beginning of our live, we touched upon, basically how people have been coming to us. Obviously, they ask us different questions. We're happy to share our expertise and knowledge after so many years in business. So, we do a lot of things at Lina Team we pride ourselves on. We're here to obviously work with all of our clients, be them buyers, sellers, investors, whatever it may be. So there's a number of things that we've done, and we're a work in progress like anyone else, because, each market that you enter, you have to adjust yourself, adjust your own expectations, and then work with each client and come up with a plan for each of the clients. So that's exactly what we do. It is not your job as a purchaser or a seller or an investor to really know these things. This is why you come to us. This is why you hire professionals to do a job for you, which we are extremely honored to do. Our job is, whether you've bought one house, 0 homes, or 16, is to make you comfortable with every market that you could possibly enter into. It's been very overwhelming for people. It's been overwhelming for realtors too, right? But we're used to it. This is our job. So it's not up to you to be, you can educate yourself as much as possible, but it's up to us to make sure that you're comfortable in each setting. We want to take that pressure off of you, take the stress off of you, and we want to work with you and come up with a plan for each and every single client. And that's exactly what we do, because we want to make sure that you are, oh, 1 second, I apologize. We have somebody coming in. So we want to make sure that you are, taken care of and you're in good hands, and that you know that. So we talked quickly about our team. We've, built up a great team. We've, over the years that we've worked in real estate, have been very fortunate to build up a fantastic network of professionals that we work with, right? And we really want to zero in on the mortgage professionals that we work with, because that has been one of the key factors to getting deals done, be it on the buy side or the sell side. It has been absolutely tremendously important to have your financing just absolutely sharp. Things are changing, right? The banks are not standing and giving out money like they were years ago. There's a lot of stuff on the back end. While the interest rates might be low, there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. There are a lot of restrictions. So a lot of things that you have to do even before you get a pre-approval, right? So first place that we always want to start after we have our meeting with you to get an idea of what it is that's going to work best for you, we want to get you to those mortgage professionals. We work with large banks. We have mortgage specialists at large banks. We also work with independent brokers. We have all different types of financing solutions that we can refer to you, right? If you have your own that you work with, absolutely, we're happy to do that. We just want to make sure that that is one part that is absolutely succinct, because it's very, very important. We have been in a competitive market. Financing conditions were a luxury, if they even existed. And even now, even if you're going in with a condition, we don't want to have the heartbreak at the end of the 5 or 7 days that you are not going to get your dream house. So these are all factors that we really need to do, get you a good pre-approval, make sure that you have options, you look at rates, you shop around, and that you feel comfortable with your financing solution at the end of the day. And we're here to help you every step of that way as well. The other thing, of course, a lot of people, they'll come to us and they'll already have a pretty good idea of where they want to live. Maybe it's the neighborhood they already live in and they just want to move up, right? But some people are coming to us and they might live in downtown Toronto right now, but they want to move to Oak Ridges because it's a great area. Why not? We specialize. That's one of the areas that we specialize in. But it could be anywhere. It could be Simcoe, it could be Hamilton, really anywhere. What our job is to make sure we A, study your needs, and then B, we do all of the homework so that you know exactly what you're going into. If you have a good understanding of the area that you want to purchase in, fantastic. We'll work together and we'll find that perfect property. But if you don't, that is what we are here for. We will do all of the research. We will compile everything for you. We'll make sure that you know the demographics and you know what types of families are in this area. You know the schools that are best for your children to attend. You know the amenities. And then obviously goes without saying, we're going to do a historical analysis and take a look to see what the appreciation has been in those neighborhoods. We've been hard pressed to find any pricing really going down other than a few years back with some governmental changes and other factors. But really overall, many areas are great to invest in. But obviously there are certain areas that would be better for your family than some others. So that is what we are here to do. We want to help you learn. We want to do the research. We want to, again, alleviate that pressure off of you. And we want to present a whole package to you so you know exactly how you're making that decision. And the other part that I'll talk about is the market analysis. So we do that, obviously that is the holy grail of for our sellers. We do a full market analysis every time we go in to meet with somebody, and we continue to do so for the duration of the listing on any of the properties that we list. But however, we do the exact same thing for our buyers, because you have to know exactly what's happening in the market. You have to look at the history. Having said that, in a market like we're in today, where there are changes on a weekly basis, it doesn't really make sense for us to see what was happening a year ago, unless you just want to do a comparison. So we really have to look at the most current sales. And then let's say, go back 3 months, go back 6 months, just so you can get an idea of what is happening. Again, we've gone from a crazy busy market in January to a market now that's, slowing down a little bit more. So it's good for you to get that understanding, but then also look at the most current sales, see how they compare to the properties that you're looking at. So that when you're making that decision of how much to offer, whether it's in multiple offers or not, then you are making an absolute 100% informed decision. This is something that we really believe in, and we do this for every single client, and it's absolutely important. And we're here, we can dissect absolutely everything with you, just so that, again, you are going in making a decision based on facts and not just, things coming out of the sky. So I think all of that part and parcel is very important. And then I'll leave it to Jana to discuss the rest of the points.
Thank you, Lina. Well, investors is my
Yes.
thingy. You got it already.
Yes.
So regarding the investors, as we discussed and talked about it, it's not only about the purchase price and to get a deal for purchase price. It's also to see what's going on with the property. What is the cash flow that the investor can get from that property? We help to investors to calculate and to understand what are the expenses of the property, because sometimes there are expenses that the landlord should carry, and we help our clients to calculate what by the end of the day they will have in the pocket as a cash flow, and what we expect in 10 years, in 5 years, in 3 years out of appreciation of the property. Because you go into the real estate market by the end of the day, not because of the cash flow, but for the appreciation of the property. This is the big money, right? This is how you secure your pension, for example, or your kids' university or retirement for yourself and your spouse. So this is very important, the calculation of return on investment and the cash flow and the equity that you probably will get in 3, 5, or 10 years from that specific property. We help you to adjust expectation and to look for the right deal for you. What does it mean? Sometimes people expect something and it's not coming true because the expectations are a little bit different from the reality. And sometimes it's disappointing, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get this type of understanding. So we are with you all the way. It's our job to get you to the point that your expectations are realistic with the current market. If it's not for you, we will find something else that works for you in your budget and your needs. But there is a need to get realistic a little bit. No need to touch and talk about that we are available 24/7. We do not take leaves. We are here all the time. We move according to the speed that you want to move and according to your timelines. And yes, we talk to our clients at 5 a.m. sometimes if they are overseas, right? And sometimes we show it in the middle of the night. If a client wants to get deal done today and we get the deal done today and we negotiate after midnight sometimes. Again, we are here, we are available, we are approachable, we are here to support you, your family, your needs, your purchase. Lina touched the informed decision. It's very important because we do not decide the price that you would like to put on the offer. We can recommend, we provide you with all the information, but it's your house, your responsibility. You will make the decision if you want to put the closes, if you want to bring contractor to look into the house and see how much money you need to invest. It's your decision if you want to purchase with conditions, without conditions. If you want to win the bidding, if you want to wait after the offer day to see if there is a situation that you will not have to go to bidding war. Our job is to support you and you will make the decision of how much to offer. Our job is to provide you with all the information to make that informed decision. And again, to provide all the support and hand holding, sometimes yes, but we need to do to help our clients. About the negotiations, we have a lot of experience in negotiations. Lina was not born a real estate broker, but she's been in this business for more than 15 years. I was not born real estate salesperson. I was a purchasing manager for more than 10 years. So we both know how to negotiate the best deals, what strategy to use, what techniques to use, not only to find your right home, but also to negotiate and to find you the right seller. We'll discuss it a little bit. Not all the sellers are motivated. There are some sellers who would just want to try the market. We need to find you the best deal for you, for your family, and to negotiate the deal to come into the end. Sometimes it's very fast. Sometimes it's a process. Sometimes it could take months to find you the best deal for you and your family. But again, we are here. We are not going anywhere. We don't drop the clients in the middle of the road. We will get you what you want and what you need in your budget.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Yana. So we were very fortunate to have some discussion points brought up and some questions from our viewers, things that were emailed to us ahead of time. So we do want to touch upon them very quickly. We have about, maybe 17 minutes left. And again, just want to say thank you so much to everyone for joining us, watching on Facebook, on Zoom. We really appreciate all the support. So let's get into it. So the first question is, if I have to buy something else, do you think it'll be better to buy now or in the fall? So we discussed something to that effect in the last few points. So traditionally, and again, seasonality obviously changing all the time with the current world situation that we're in, but traditionally summertime was thought of as a good deal time. Right? Again, prices have gone up. It's a little bit of a different situation, and it really is week by week because things are changing. People that are more motivated will be more inclined to negotiate, and you can get a better deal. People, as Yana said, that are not motivated, are just trying the market. Those are not going to be the people that will say, "Okay, let's meet each other halfway or let's work together." Right? They will hold out until better times if they do come. So in terms of that, how I always answer this question is, it is impossible to time the market. Anybody that tells you they could do that is lying. And you know what, if they're able to do it, it's a whole bunch of luck. So you have to do what works for you. You have to evaluate, and we can help you do that, but you must evaluate, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you investing? Are you moving up? Are you just getting into the market for the first time? So once you're able to answer those questions, get your financing sorted out, because that's key, as we said, then you'll be in a much better position to decide. The market could go either way. You know, if there are more things coming from the government to slow things down, maybe we will see a price reduction at some point, but it's really impossible to say right now what's going to happen. The reports out there, you know, one day CMHC is reporting that prices are going way down, then the next they're reporting that they're going crazy up. So even those, you know, it's really hard to kind of say. You have to answer the question for yourself. What am I trying to achieve here? Let's look at the market. Let's see where I'm buying. Let's see the state of everything right now. And then that will really give you a good idea of when you can buy. Perhaps fall, we'll see more inventory. You know, we could see an upswing in price if there isn't enough inventory. So it's really about answering the question of what's going to work best for you and what exactly you are trying to achieve. So next, is there any discussion about significant upcoming interest rates coming, which would obviously affect pricing and affordability? So, you know, with interest rates, as I mentioned earlier, they have been increasing steadily, very, very little. Bank of Canada has been holding the rate for obvious reasons. You know, we're still in very murky waters with the economy. It's going to take some time to see what's going to happen in the fall with everything. You know, are things going to stay open? You know, where's everything going type of thing. So in terms of the interest rates, it's nothing they can do today for tomorrow. They can't increase them to 5% right now, because that would effectively tailspin our economy and end it even more. So that we probably will not see. However, we have strong relationships with you know, different mortgage specialists and brokers, and it is definitely on the horizon. You will see increases over the next few years. This is not going to be, you know, you're not going to be getting 1.5% or under 2% forever, obviously. So as they see the economy strengthening, hopefully, there will be increases in the interest rate. I think they will be slow and steady. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that's kind of what we'll see. You know, but you will definitely see them. So over the span of the next year to two, prepare that there will be higher interest rates at some point. So given the bidding war nature of buying a property right now, sellers are looking for the least amount of conditions. Of course, I mean, they always are, right? What conditions do you consider absolute musts, assuming I don't need a financing condition? So again, as Yana just mentioned, that really comes down to what is important to you. For some people, you know, if you've never purchased a property before, you're a first-time home buyer, you're buying a house that's 25 years old that really hasn't had many updates. You know what? Maybe it is important to do a home inspection. You're not very handy. You don't know how to use a hammer. That's me right there. So there are certain factors that you have to consider. You know, obviously, if you're going into a very competitive type of situation, these are all things we may want to do beforehand. You know, sometimes we have buyers, we ask the listing agent, and we'll do the inspection beforehand if they let us, right? We can do a mini inspection. We could do an extra long showing if they allow, and bring somebody in that can take a look at certain things, right? Again, it really boils down to what is important to you. I've got, you know, myself and Yana both have clients that are extremely handy, or they're contractors. So for them, an inspection really doesn't matter. They really don't care. I think, again, it's more so about figuring out your financing, because that's really what scares people more. I see people that are saying no to a financing condition, but they're okay with a home inspection because they know they've taken good care of their house, right? So in terms of that, that's what I would say. Plus, the way we write our offers, even if you are foregoing all the conditions, there are certain clauses that we write in that would, you know, kind of afford you some protection should anything happen. You know, we also will ask for an extra visit to the house. We'll make sure before the closing that everything is working, everything is running. So there's a number of things that we can do to make sure we protect you as the purchaser if you are foregoing the conditions. How many sales are you seeing with financial conditions versus without? And same question with other conditions. Again, it's all kind of tying in together. In terms of financing, it really depends. People are, they're biding their time. If you're going into a situation where you're the only offer, then you know what? Maybe you can go in with all the conditions. Maybe you can go in at a lower price. It really depends. If you're going up against another 7 offers, maybe we need to rethink that strategy. So, financing and inspection are the 2 big ones that we generally see. And again, it really boils down to, if a house is 2 years old, some people are just saying, forget it. What could go wrong? I don't really need the home inspection, right? So that's really up to their own comfort level. What about when you're thinking of buying a property with a fireplace? Should I put conditions like inspection, certification for insurance? So that would actually be talking about a wood burning fireplace. So yes, a wood burning fireplace, if you're lucky enough to find one that is still operational, because most people are afraid of them.
We had them very.
Yes, we did have a few. So in terms of a wood burning fireplace, because this doesn't really apply to gas so much, because that one's much easier. So with something like that, if you're purchasing an older property, probably 30 plus years, and it actually has a wood burning fireplace, we have to ask if it is working. If it is working, then obviously there are certain insurance items that you have to take care of. So yes, they do have to be wet certified. That's something that you can contact your insurance broker about and get a better understanding. A lot of times people just keep them because they look nice, but they are not actually operational. So that's really important to figure out. If it is operational, great. Do they have certification? Fantastic. If not, then before we do an offer, you have a conversation with your insurance broker, and then you see if it makes sense, and what they say to you, right? So anything like that. And obviously there are certain things that we can put in as a condition, or even just as a clause written, that we will ask the seller to provide us with certain items. Sometimes people go ahead and do renovations. They have all of the receipts, let's say for the shingles, the furnace, etc. So oftentimes we'll write that into the agreement, that they provide us with any warranties or receipts that they may have on hand. So this is the same type of thing that I would say. What about trends of moving from urban to rural, and how is that affecting prices and affordability? Yes, there has been definitely a trend. So, last year we saw the city, well, everything shut down, but specifically the city. So just speaking about Toronto, it was very quiet. Everything was just at a standstill. There was a price decrease in the condo market. Everything was very quiet. We have seen a resurgence again. Condos are hot again. Many people can't afford to get into an actual house or even a condo townhouse. So they are opting for condo apartments again. So we have seen a lot of multiple offers, a lot of competition, and price growth, pretty significant price growth. We've sold a couple of condos, and we've gotten, phenomenal results from people. So we have seen that. There are people that are moving. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that have the dream of the country property or whatever it may be. So that is a specific kind of person. I wouldn't say there's a huge trend with that. I think that's something that people have always wanted to do. One thing we have seen, obviously, with cottage country, it's been absolutely unstoppable. In fact, we have clients that tried getting cottages and just couldn't. They were priced out so fast over the last year. So they've instead opted to buy, investment properties or upgrade their own house, right? Which I suppose it's not so bad. But we've definitely seen that grow. I think we will continue to see that. Cottages have been going up in price everywhere, right? A lot of people are saying, okay, well, if this is a situation here, at least I have another property I can go to where maybe I have a little bit more freedom or a little bit more space or whatever the case may be. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of these trends that are happening. And, anything that happens in the market will eventually affect, obviously, pricing and affordability. Supply and demand. The less supply there is and the more demand, then the prices are going to go up. So that's kind of been the formula that we've seen over the past year and a half or so. Jana, I'm going to have you talk about the last 2 points.
Sure. Thank you. If I'm selling, should I wait till the fall? Will I get a better deal now? Where do you think will be regarding inventory and demand in the fall? So as Lina touched, and this is my personal opinion, there is no right time, fall, autumn, or summer. There is a right time for you. when you are ready, when you want to move on, when you are comfortable with your financial situation, so you do the move. Because if you pay right now for your condo, for your townhouse, you can add maybe a little bit more and get into your own property and not financing your landlord property, for example. If you want to sell your property and upgrade, so you need to get the same market condition. If it's a seller market, yes, you will buy high, but you also will sell higher, right? So there is no right time, for my opinion, for fall or summer. Just do it when you are ready. The most important part, when you're ready financially, because if you don't have the finances, so it's not the right time, not about the fall. Regarding the fall specifically, we still need to see what's going on with the borders, as I discussed and as Lina talked about. The seasonal, it might be steady, it might be increasing because of the opening of the borders and students coming in, students and immigration coming into Canada. Most of them are attracted to GTA, obviously, right? People go to Vancouver and GTA, less immigration coming to periphery or other provinces. Keep it in mind, please. Is it worth it to do any renos, including painting, or wherever the property should just be cleaned and decluttered? For sure, you have to clean the property. You cannot sell the house which is not looking good and attractable. Declutter it for sure, as much as you can show the space. We don't sell your life, we don't sell your tools, and we don't sell your furniture. We do sell the house. This is less for the buyers, it's more for the sellers, but this was one of the questions we received from interested people and clients, so we would like to answer that. Regarding the painting, yes, we would suggest to repaint, maybe a little, not all the rooms, but yes, repaint the house to make it look nicer.
These are the ones that are going to be moving up into another house. We become buyers.
Yes, that's true. So we want the house to be nicer. Lina and I, if you call us and ask this question, we would add that we provide staging, and we provide consultation. So if you would like to sell, we will be more than happy to talk to you and see your house and bring in the consultation that we offer. And the consultant in our team, she will be more than happy to provide you both types of answers regarding your property specifically, because sometimes there is no need and it makes no sense to invest thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to make full renovation. Maybe just enough, to paint, to clean, and we do the staging, and that's it. Sometimes, yes, if you have 45 years old kitchen, we would advise you to change it a little bit for something not expensive. Maybe your buyers will put new kitchen for themselves, but for sure, newer kitchen will attract more buyers. Even if we want to put newer completely kitchen, custom made for themselves. They probably will not be willing to look into the purchasing a house with old, outdated, completely kitchen, bathrooms, or floors, or carpet, which is, older than myself. But it all depends, and this is very something that we will look personally, specifically on the property.
Yes, in fact, if you are thinking of moving up or whatever the case may be, and if you are thinking of selling and you want to do renovations, I would say call us before, because many times we get the call after the fact and people are very regretful that they've spent all the money. Maybe they didn't necessarily need to. So yes, please definitely call us, get us in before, give us your ideas, and we will give you our professional opinion, and then you can go from there. So I would definitely say do that, please, because we don't want you spending unnecessary money, stress, and losing time, right? So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We're gonna, here we are. We'll leave that, our contact information if you need. So once again, we are very grateful to everyone that tuned in on Facebook, everyone that tuned in on Zoom. Thank you so very much for your continued support, for your trust. We are here. We're happy to help you, even if you just need advice. It's fine. We are more than excited to get you to that dream of home ownership or investing or whatever it may be. So please definitely never hesitate. We are extremely approachable, as Yana said, and we're always very happy to help. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope to be back in a few weeks with something else. If there's anything that you want us to talk about that's real estate related, you always know where to find us. DM, send us a note, and we'd be happy to do another live focusing on those real estate aspects. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.